This is a tutorial on installing a Vettenuts bezel for a C5 Corvette with a doubled-in radio. You're going to start off by collecting some tools. There are three important ones: the Torx T-15 drive, a 9/32 inch socket, and a 10mm socket. We're going to start by seating the head unit into the dash, and then we're going to fasten it once it's seated with the 9/32 inch hex head screws. Those same fasteners are used for the HVAC controls, by the way. So start them with your fingers, and once they're finger tight, you can use your socket to drive them so that they're tight. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is place the bezel. Now this I didn't show the entire step. There's a cigarette lighter socket that must be transferred from your existing bezel. I'm going to stop right here and zoom in. Put your fingers in that socket and then grasp onto the back of the socket from behind and twist. It'll unscrew righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And that will come off and you can transfer it to the new bezel. So make your connection, your electrical connection, before you put this on the dash. And then you'll have to kind of move it around and position it, get behind the turnstock, and then around the shifter and by the emergency brake handle to get it in place. So do that. And once you get it positioned, like I just did here, then it should snap right into place. There are two tabs up top that are sort of fragile, so be careful, but you can snap it right in left and then right, just like that. And now you're going to reinstall your shift boot. Shift boot will slide down and it'll snap back into place. Now we're going to put the T-15 screws in. There are three of them. One by the air temperature sensor in the upper left behind the stock. Start that one. And the other two are already kind of started. So we'll tighten this one down. Tighten the screw next to the cigarette lighter socket. It's also a T-15. And the third T-15 is right in the middle of the cigarette lighter opening. So we're going to tighten that one down. And don't over tighten them. You're going into sheet metal, so you could strip them, so be careful. Okay, and I probably should have done this before, but let's check the cigarette lighter and make sure it actually has power and heats up, because even though many of us don't smoke, we might want that socket for auxiliary power. And you can see it works. So put it back, put the key in, and again, this is something I did out of order. Check your head unit, make sure it works and functions as you would like before you fasten everything back in. So right here's just a quick check, making sure the backup camera actually worked. And it did. And I did not show that in this video. That's a separate project. So now put the cover back on the air temperature sensor carefully. It has plastic ears and they're very fragile. All the plastic trim in the C5 is pretty fragile, so be careful with all of it. Once this is all done, we're going to move on and we're going to reinstall the traction control module. There are two connections on this. Snap them back in. First one, and then the second one is more like a Molex. Right there. Snap right in. And you'll need to position this, make sure all the cables are tucked in. You can see I added a USB connector into the center console in place of the auxiliary power, so I have a third cable that I didn't show here. All that is dressed up and neat in that area. Now you need to reattach the 10mm nuts. There are two of them. That will anchor down the front bezel and the center console. One thing of note is the center console needs to be drawn back in order to install the center front bezel. And then when everything's in position, you'll slide that console back and then install the nuts and everything. So these are the two 10mm nuts towards the back of the console that need to be reinstalled and tightened. And then there are 2 trim covers that are also very fragile, so reinstall those. And once they're in, you are done. So there are probably a bunch of steps that I missed or didn't show clearly. Feel free to ask me questions by commenting to this video, and I will do my best to answer them. And good luck!